Hi, we're Drew and Sarah. We're back with Let's Table It with another crowdfunding roundup. This week we're covering 5 different games that have caught Drew's eye. He'll tell us why and whether or not we're going to be backing it. Here we go. First up this week on Kickstarter, we've got Meenakshi from Shuvili Games, which I believe is an Indian publisher.
I think so. It's kind of a neat action selection game. You've got 4 or 5 actions you can do. You're ultimately trying to construct towers, get them blessed by the gods. Things along these lines. I wish it was a little bit less. So the price point starts at $40, but you don't get the plastic components that are going to give it that real table presence until you step up to the $70 pledge. At that point, for what it is as a game, I'm not sold. It might be one to try if we can find it somewhere, play it once or twice, see if we like it. But overall, I just don't know that it's going to have enough for us to go in at that price.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you're going to get a big game like that, you want those components that are really going to elevate the game. And so building a temple without the temple parts sounds not quite so fun. So
well, and by the time you factor in shipping, you're looking at 70 plus another, if you're lucky, 15. So I mean, that's $85 is pushing it for the depth this game is going to give you.
Gotcha. Next up, still over on Kickstarter, we've got Ludos, the Ancient Games Collection. This time we're focused on the Asian games. And this is from Lemery Games.
Yeah, so all of these are essentially traditional games. That's one thing that the Ludos does, is they try to kind of keep these old games, these very, old-fashioned traditional ones for various areas. They try to kind of keep them going. They don't want them to be lost to history. It's a really neat idea. You get, the 4 games, traditional, again, kind of neat, cloth playmats and stuff like that. I think the problem is, when you're backing them, you're probably going to back them all. You're going to go in at that 40, but some of them are probably not going to hit. And so is it worth spending 40 for games that, 1, you might not like at all, 2 are okay, and 1 you really like? That's a tough thing to do, and until you get to play that game, you don't know which one you want to pick anyway.
Yeah, with those ancient games, those abstract games, is there going to be enough wow factor for you to keep coming back to it? I think is really part of it. I have seen this one a little bit, covered on a few other places, and I do like that they use traditional components, the cloth mats, the wooden pieces. I think that is amazing, and I love what they're trying to do, keeping these traditional games going and introducing them to more people. But yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah, and then, same kind of thing. So you find a game, you enjoy it for a while, but replayability, strategy, is it eventually going to kind of just plateau? And then, again, we run into that. So right now, as tempting as it is, I lean towards a pass. Like you said, I love what they're doing. I just don't know if it's for us.
Sure. Again, on Kickstarter this week, we've got Sea Dragons from Draco Studio.
Yeah, so this one's gotten a lot of buzz, too. A lot of people have done some previews and work for it. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's a neat little idea. My problem is it's a polyomino game. And so when you get a polyomino game, you know what you're getting. You kind of know how it works. I think it's really neat that you play the card and you set your pieces out in that design or that shape. But again, I feel like we're going to start running into that same issue. We've got 5 polyomino or 6 I mean, how many do you need at the end of the day? So as cool as this is definitely one that I think will make its way to retail eventually. I think it might take a while, but I think it'll get there. It's just that polyomino is kind of a crowded market, and I'm not sure it's doing anything exceptional enough to pull me into back
to push something else out of our, you have your few polyomino games that you come back to. Yeah. Is it different enough? Is it special enough to either fit in there or to push something else out?
Exactly. And again, it's that whole replayability strategy. Is it going to be something that stands the test of time?
Sure. Next, we're headed over to GameFound with Steam Power from Wallace Designs.
Yeah, so this one looks really interesting. This is another one. It's a contract fulfillment. It really looks like the mechanisms are there. I think it might be kind of fun. I'd like to try to play it. My problem is it's really not that attractive of a game. It's $40 for the base pledge, which is okay, but again, you're looking at the cardboard components and things like this. And if you want the really nice, engines, the wood tracks and stuff, all those pieces, you're looking at $100 before shipping. That's pushing it. I mean, for what it is as a game, and I like the idea and the design. I think it's great. But again, for what it is, if they could have done that closer to before tax, before shipping, get it closer to that 60, 70, I think we might be taking a more serious look. But the way it stands now, it's something I'd rather play first.
Sure. I think that gets into a whole other conversation that maybe we'll have at some point of, is this just where games are now? That to get a nice quality game, you're going to be paying $100+,
yeah,
whether or not you're getting that in the store or from a crowdfunding source.
Yeah, and I think you're starting, there's been more discussion I've seen about that, and I agree completely. I think we're getting to that point, post-COVID, those prices don't come down. So we're looking at, that $60 is going to be closer to a base level. And for the nice stuff, you're going to be tripping on 3 digits. So,
speaking of 3 digits, our final campaign we're covering this week is Dante from Creative Game Studios.
So I was able to watch a playthrough and some things like that. It's a huge, epic boss battler, and they've got multiple different bosses, and some of the things they're doing with it is it's really neat. It's a long game. I mean, you're talking 2-3 hours, really neat components, but again, base pledge, and again, it's a big game. Base pledge is $100. If you want everything in, you're at $400. That's it's got some sticker shock there. Again, you've got nice minis, you've got a neat setup and terrain and all those kind of things. Boss battlers just are not our thing. So. Yeah. It's
and the theme for me, it doesn't super hit, so
yeah, I don't mind the theme as much. It's just this isn't going to make its way to the table enough to warrant anything close to that. So as cool as it is, as much as material as they've got, it's probably just not looking like it's going to happen.
And just when you thought we were done, we've got one more bonus campaign that we're going to cover this week.
Yeah, so this I thought about it. The Stefan Feld City Collection, there are a lot of people that really do like it. And there's a new one out that's Nassau. Supposed to be, I think, brand new. Either that or it was the Kathmandu, one of those two. My problem is, it's $90 for a base game. And the production quality on their bases are okay. I don't know. Queen Games sometimes just swings for the fences, and they've been known to kind of keep rolling out the same thing with new lipstick on it. So I think that's another one that I'm always skeptical when I see them. I never know if it's actually new or just rebranding. But definitely, if you're a big Feld, you can check it out. You probably know about it already. So
this has been a crowdfunding roundup on Let's Table It. For more board game content, please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you would like to follow our day-to-day board gaming adventures as a family, you can follow me on Instagram at Sarah Always Loses. Thanks for watching.